Hi guys, Claudia Boleyn here. This is not a planned video, although I have prepared some quotes I want to read. As always, I want to keep Gaza at the front of our minds here. I'm trying to think how I can best use my platform. So the donation links will be in the description box. That's for medical aid for Palestinians and the Oxfam Gaza appeal. However, it is increasingly difficult. We don't even know if that aid's getting in at this point. So all I can do is urge you to go to protests if you are able. I am disabled, I struggle with travelling, so I haven't been able to make the London ones. I've been spreading information about how to get to them, and I went to a local one this weekend. I wish more people had gone, but we just have to do what we can. So please, if you can't do that yourself, spread the information so other people can get there. If we just have to hope and pray that if enough of us get out there and keep talking about this and don't let our politicians forget that they are just going to have to listen to us. We've already got the police telling people when and they shouldn't protest. We've had the dodgy police bill a while ago, which is, you know, trying to make it, basically making it easier to arrest protesters. The slide towards fascism some years ago. They've been laying the groundwork for this for a long time. So one of the most recent things they're saying here is how dare people disrespectfully march or protest on Armistice Day. What do you think Armistice means? Armistice means laying down of arms. It means a ceasefire. That's why we celebrate it, right? And I feel like this is why I wear a white poppy, I don't wear a red one. Because what is the point of wearing a poppy because you recognise that war is hell? And in so many wars, like especially First World War, Second World War, where there was conscription, people, like, their whole lives disappeared, right? They were given trauma, or they were injured, or they were killed, right? We recognise those are terrible things. Please don't wear your poppy to show how, you know, this is the real virtue signalling, you know, like, oh, look at my big red poppy, look, I can show the most flags. Well, what have you learned? What have you learned from those wars? Because all you seem to be doing is glorifying it. Don't you dare wear a poppy and then stand there and say, but I don't support a ceasefire. Like, it betrays the memory of every single one of those soldiers who died. I've said this for years, but I will not wear a red poppy for this reason. It's been co-opted to be a support for the military, and it's an absolute joke because our politicians are wearing these massive poppies while they won't even support a ceasefire. And this is our opposition as well. Keir Starmer is a little weasel. I don't have enough words to describe how much I hate that man. Truly, he is devoid of all principle. Devoid of all principle. Okay, some very, very basic things before I get into the main body of this video. And again, it's not planned. I've got stuff to say, but you know, okay. So as of right now, the death toll in Palestine has gone over 10,000. Every single night, I'm watching the different news channels, and you can see the Gaza skyline, like, it is being bombed to bits every single night. And then you wake up in the morning and then you see, oh, the number's gone up again, and then there's footage of injured people and crying children and grieving parents. So what I have right now is over 10,000 people. That will have gone up. Bear in mind, there are going to be people under the rubble. Like, they don't have, I saw the other day when I was watching Al Jazeera, I saw someone hold up a dead child in their press briefing to the world from outside a hospital. And the cameras had to cut away. And they were begging people, they were saying, these are the people that Israel is killing, look at our dead children. Can you imagine being in a situation where not only do you lose, if I get upset, forgive me, not only do you lose your child in such a horrible way, but people don't listen to you, people make excuses for the fact that you're being routinely bombed, and you have to hold up your dead baby, your dead child, to try and show the world, please stop killing us. Please stop killing us. Like, that's not our right to see. You know, it's a very sacred thing. Like, someone's dead relative, right? That's and to actually be so desperate that you have to hold that child up in front of the world and desperately say, please stop. These are the people here. These are the children. These are hospitals. They are not Hamas bases. And even if there were Hamas bases, there are children here. Please stop killing these innocent children. I saw them hold up that child. I have seen more harm to children than I've ever seen in my life over the past few weeks. And every single time I feel physically ill, and I can't get the images out of my head. But, and also, like, the children did a press conference. The children of Gaza gave a statement the other day. These traumatized little children basically pleading that they need humanitarian aid. Please, we're not terrorists, please stop bombing us. You've got videos of children crying, like, why are you doing this? Like, what did we do? Journalists are routinely being killed, right? Hospitals are openly being bombed. Remember that video I made a while ago? And it was like, oh, be careful, it probably wasn't Israel, you know, make sure it was probably a Hamas rocket. Right, what's happened now? Right, we're a few weeks down the line, now they're openly saying, yes, we're bombing the hospitals. Obviously they were bombing the hospitals, but now they've pushed and they've seen the international community isn't really doing much, so they've thought, you know what, we're going to keep doing it, and we'll say Hamas is there, and if Hamas isn't there, we'll say we thought Hamas was there. And you know, we've told them to move, we've told the people to move. They are killing people as they try to move to the south. Have you seen images of the people that tried to flee to the south and were killed, right, on the road? Families, children, babies, right? And also, I must say this, although I do focus on when I talk about these children because they are like the ultimate innocent here, I don't want to also get into that situation of being like, oh, the women and children only. No, the adult men there are just as worthy of life. The reason that I talk about the children is because you just hope, don't you, that through, no matter what anyone thinks about things, that the innocence of a child will cut through anything to get to someone's empathy. And the absolute shock and despair that people just walking around in life thinking they're reasonable and normal, people that you've known or have admired, to see that that doesn't go through to them has been a horrific shock. It has been an absolute, I still can't get my head around it, that we are pleading for basic humanity. We've got Israel has sent its troops in, it's starving the population, and again, as an occupying force, it has responsibility. I've seen the IDF say, we don't have a responsibility. Yes, you do. You're an occupying force under international law, which you keep breaking because you shouldn't be occupying. But the fact that you are occupying means that you need to make sure that the people under your, in terms of international law, sorry if I'm like all over the place, they have a responsibility to make sure those people have enough food, enough water, and they're able to get medical aid. They have a responsibility to make sure that civilians are not hurt. So even if they're, oh, we're really here to get Hamas thing was true, they are still failing in that because the majority of people they've killed are civilians, right? They are an occupier, which is a breach of international law, but even if you are an occupier, you still have, there are still codes of conduct you have to live by. This is a massacre of people. They're saying, oh, we're trying to prevent Palestinians from being killed. It's a shame that Palestinians are being killed. Stop bombing them then. All I see is the blood. Right, sorry to be so angry about this. In fact, no, I'm not sorry to be angry about it. So the hostages. The Israeli hostages that are there right now, and I keep seeing the IDF and the supporters of this absolute genocide saying, well, they've got to get their hostages. They are bombing their own hostages. In what world are you, how does that rescue the hostages? In what, this is just an excuse, right? It is literally just, to anything, they'll just say, but we have to get the hostages. We have to get our hostages. And if you ask, like, people act like they're babies, like suddenly they're unable to think. You'll say to them, okay, I agree, like, it's awful that there are hostages, you know, they must be safe. We have to make sure they're safe. So you think, okay, what's the next step? How do we get them? Presumably, you know, ceasefire, negotiations, top priority, you would think, for Israel would be getting those hostages, those innocent people, out of that situation. But what are they doing instead? No. They are bombing the place. And we now hear that Israeli hostages have died in the bombings. And there are people who've said, oh, I don't believe that they have died in those bombings. If you see the scenes in Palestine and you see how many, like, children are being horrifically killed and injured and like, the things, I won't unsee what I've seen. Just, if the Palestinian people can't even, like, stop that happening to the children there, then quite obviously it's the hostages are going to be being killed as well. Telling them to go to the south, not to be in the north, but then they're bombed on the way there, the conditions are so bad there, and there is bombing, they are stopped as they go there. I heard stories of people who tried to go to the south with their families, because this is the decision that these people have to make. Just think about this on a human level. You stay where you are, with your home, with your things, with your family, and you just have to hope, right? So everything you know, and you think, just pray, stay with everything, and you might have disabled family members, you might have little children, you might have elderly people who can't travel. Remember, everything is rubble, right? Or you uproot yourself and you go to the south. However, in the south, you're also getting bombed. People are being killed on the way to the south. And also the situation is so bad there in terms of, resources. People are getting sick there. So some people have thought, you know what, I'm going to stay in my home. You've also got the situation that if they go to the south, they're not going to be allowed back in. They're going to be displaced again, like they were during the Nakba. They're not going to be allowed to get back in. Israel has already said, it's already said that once they've done whatever they want to do in Gaza, they're going to take control of Gaza fully. Right? It's a land grab. It is a land grab. So there are people who packed up their stuff, right? They packed up their stuff. They took their families and they tried to take their cars. And what happened when they tried to go to the south? They were told, you're not allowed to take your cars. You're not allowed to take your things. You go with what you can carry. And these are people with young children. Now, that is an impossible situation. How is any person supposed to make that choice? You've also got people in the north of Gaza, medics, journalists, right? These people who are heroes because they won't go. They know it's a really high likelihood, and bear in mind, these are people who see day after day the things we can't even imagine. Like, I know we've seen some terrible things, but what they see and what they describe, if you follow some of the surgeons and doctors from Gaza, they don't post, graphic content, but they talk about what they're going through, the trauma of that, to see that day after day happening to innocent children, and to know that at any moment it could be you or your colleagues, and to still remain there, to still stay there with your patients, is one of the most heroic things I can actually think of. And remember, there are still people under the rubble. So people are it's not just that people are being bombed, innocent people being bombed, but they're stuck under the rubble. They're not able to get to these people. So people are dying underneath the rubble from their injuries or from starvation or from sickness. Right? That's another reason why people might not want to go. Because if your relative is under the rubble, you are probably going to be digging for that person and say, I am not going to leave that person. Like, for one moment, will people just please use their humanity? The word Hamas and the words human shields and the hostages have clouded all reason and all judgment in people. Like, everything. It's just gone. It's like you can say those words and suddenly all of these things are okay. And it isn't just in Gaza. It's in the West Bank. Settler violence towards Palestinians in the West Bank has, and this is, I will make a video. The Amnesty report from 2022, right, talks about the human rights abuses going on in Israel and calls it an apartheid state. This was 2022. Earlier this year, they were attacking Gaza, right? This did not start on October the 7th. And people saying it did not start on October the 7th are not sitting there saying, oh, I'm really glad that October the 7th happened. I'm so happy that children got kidnapped. I'm so happy about that. Who's doing that? No one is doing that. It is childish. It is either pure stupidity or it is just plain manipulative evil to act like that event was the first blow and all of a sudden all hell's broken loose. Look at the history of the region. Look at just this year. Look at last year. What was happening to children in Gaza, to people in the West Bank. It has been a land grab. It is a land grab. It is ethnic cleansing. Obviously, the leaders of Israel, who have already broken international law because there was a settlement, right? In the 60s, there was a settlement. And let me tell you, Israel got much more than the Palestinians did out of that settlement. Right? They got much more anyway. And still they have occupied land. Still, there is an open-air prison full of about 2 million people. Still. And then people act like when a group from that place, the open-air prison, the concentration camp, right, the people who can't travel anywhere because they don't have passports, who are being starved out, who everything is controlled, they can't ever go back to their homes that they were displaced from originally. They're having their olive trees, like the ground is salted, so they're being basically in every sense abused. The children are being arrested. Like, there is a military power there literally to abuse them and keep them in line, right, as more and more land is grabbed and the world is completely silent. And people just want to be children about this, and they want to be so, can you not see? It's not justifying any attacks on any civilian, and especially not children. But to act like that situation, which has been going on for about 70 years, has nothing to do with things, is just stupidity at this point. Are people children, incapable? Can they only see good guys, bad guys, black and white? And it is the people protesting that they then accuse of being these extremists, unable to show any sort of nuance. right? They are calling it in this country. Suella Braverman has said it is that hate marches are taking place. So literally taking to the streets to say, please stop bombing the children, right? All the people, but especially the children. That's a hate march now. That's a hate march. And you've got people in this country, they're so brainwashed by our media that they're like, oh, it seems a bit disrespectful to do that on Armistice Day. What are you celebrating with your poppies? Why are you wearing your poppies? Because no one can. What is the point? Why are you wearing it? What are you wearing it for? And also, I just want, this is not the video for this, but also the Royal British Legion. All this. There are so many homeless veterans in this country, right? People who have fought for this country, you know, whether I agree with the campaign or not. They are soldiers. They put their lives in the hands of the government, and that's their job, and that's what they've been trained to do, and that's what they've gone and done. And they're using food banks, and they're on the streets. How about instead of wearing poppies, right, and parading around the cenotaph and seeing like the king and all those people, how about we make sure that those veterans have a place to live and healthcare and like. Everything is crazy at this point. You know, you wear the poppy and you're patriotic, right? That shows you're a good person. But March for Peace, and it's a hate march, and you support terrorism. You face reality itself, and you get labelled as some sort of dangerous person. The police are actually saying that, you know, that they're advising people, oh, you shouldn't go on the Palestinian protests, right? And also they're starting to arrest people, right, for saying things like Israel is a terror state and things like that. Now, why is it, I don't even need to, I'll just point out the hypocrisy here. Why is it that Hamas's actions, right, when they commit actions like kidnap, right, and they kill people, and they do those things that are wrong, and we say that's terrorism, right, and we say that's wrong to do, but Israel, a whole state, can do it on an absolutely mass scale. But you can't say, oh, Israel's a terrorist here as well. Israel's acting like a terrorist. Of course, because it's about power. It's about power. It is not. Right, you're seeing a massive displacement. I think I saw, this might be wrong, what I saw this morning on the news, I believe like 70% of the population of Gaza has now been displaced. And the people of Gaza, like, if you look at what they're living on, they are living on basic rations. They don't have enough water. If you follow, we're on social media now, if you follow people who are in Palestine, every night they will just, ordinary people, like, social media should have woken us up to the fact that we have a shared humanity here. Ordinary people, ordinary lives, and every night, oh, the bombing is happening, just in case I die, let me say this, or you've got children are making friendship bracelets. And this is one that really got me when I saw this. There are children in Palestine who are making bracelets to identify themselves if they die in the airstrikes. This is something that children are so innocent and must always be protected. And children making friendship bracelets and things like that is a part of, like, growing up. It's lovely, right? I feel something we've all done or we see the kids do. To think that these children are now making bracelets to identify themselves if they die, that parents are writing their children's names on their arms in case they die or their body parts get scattered. There was a child. People are carrying body parts of their own loved ones around. There isn't enough place to bury them. They are having mass burials. I don't know what else people need to see before people wake up at this point. And our politicians, we had the king rolling in for the opening of Parliament, you know, in the coach, and he's got the carriage, he's got the crown on. Starmer and Sunak sitting there laughing together. You know, these people are war criminals. These people support a genocide. These people, they don't care about what the rest of the public think. They don't care about human lives. All they care about is money and power, right? That's all they care about. They are less than, I don't have enough words to describe. May this follow them for the rest of their lives. May they never escape this guilt, and may the blood never wash off them. May they never be able to look in a mirror again without seeing that in their own eyes. The UN is saying this is a war crime, right? So even at first, things were lukewarm. Like, war crimes have been going on for a long time, well before October the 7th. But things have now got so bad, so awful at this point, that the UN and these agencies are saying this is a war crime, this is a war crime. And what do our leaders say? I saw Wes Streeting today, I saw him today, like, he was asked in an interview, do you think Israel's breaking international law? And he kept saying, well, they mustn't break international law. I feel like I'm going insane. Are they breaking international law? Well, they mustn't break international law. And of course, you know, we must wait and see. We must wait and see. Imagine it was your family. It was your children. You spineless. Sorry, if they are we incapable? Where has empathy gone? Why is it that people in this country can see, and I know why, because we paint the Palestinians as brown and dangerous and Muslim and Islamic terrorism, all that stuff. But we empathise with Israeli hostages, right? We have the mothers of those hostages taken on the news, right? And they talk about their pain, and we treat them with respect, as we should, right? And they talk about, you know, we want our children back. Now they are asked about what they think should happen next, and they say, oh, you know, we don't really know, so they're not asking for a ceasefire. But you know, you understand they're going through pure hell. The human level of that. That's why it feels like an insult. That is why when you keep seeing images of these Israeli hostages, this is why, to me, it feels so crazy. It's not because people don't care for those hostages. It's because it's just being used. They are using the lives of those little children to further bomb and kill, and in fact put those children in danger. If my child had been taken somewhere, and I thought my child was hidden away in some place and my child was still alive, how dare they use the images of those children to then bomb the place? Who God only knows how many of these children are being bombed and attacked. I've seen people from the IDF talking about the conditions and saying, yes, it's obviously very bad for the hostages, you know, because they're enduring a bombardment. And it's like, who's bombarding them? Who is the biggest threat right now? And that's why, and that's, I find difficult, because it's like, to say that, people go, oh, don't you care about the hostages? No, I care greatly for those hostages. The hostages, for those people to be okay, though, using our minds as adult human beings with brains, we need a ceasefire, because bombing the place where they're at, am I going crazy here? That's not going to rescue them, is it? That's going to kill them and kill the people around them, and everything's going to flare up more, and more people are going to die. Surely, when a hostage is taken, negotiation, ceasefire. I feel like I'm going insane. Has everyone lost their minds? And actually, no, to be fair, I'm not saying everyone's, like, our leaders is what I mean. The people are more switched on than their leaders. The people here are more switched on, and our leaders are making us complicit. They are making us guilty by association. They are doing this. And they see us marching. They see exactly what we think. Right, let's move on to the next thing I wanted to talk about. Right, I might make another video of this. There are 3 groups of people that I am especially really angry with right now. 3 groups of people. And they're kind of random, but specific to me. And I'll say feminists, Christians, and Doctor Who fans. And that probably sounds weird in this video, but just because these are the spaces that I exist in. I do not want to see so-called feminists, right? White feminists, making, oh, Israel's so empowered. Look at these young women who are forced to be in the military service, or they go to jail or get in trouble. Look how great they look, how empowered they look with their guns, going in to commit a war crime. What girl bosses, you know, like, oh, their makeup is so great makeup, like great skincare regime, like that's amazing. You'll look great when you go in and kill those children. You'll look amazing. Like, people say that things they say about Palestinians, right, is they'll say, oh, but the human rights in Palestine, you know, it's not good for women in Palestine. Sorry, explain to me this. How is you understand there are women and children in Palestine, right? You're a feminist. You understand there are women being bombed in Palestine. You understand that they are being denied healthcare. You understand that in a time of war, like, they are at risk. There are people like, delivering their children, right? Cesarean sections. Someone was died, and they gave her a C-section so they could try and save her baby. This is what there are pregnant women there. There are women there. So this is why white feminism, like, sorry, feminism is not just, oh, the Barbie movie and yay, like, empowerment and all that kind of stuff, and oh, look, it's an aesthetic. No, it means actually caring about people's human rights. It doesn't make sense to be a feminist, right, unless you're a hypocrite. If you're a feminist, you're a feminist because you believe that systems of oppression are wrong. So any of these feminists who are like pro-Zionist and they're like, oh, Israel's right, and you know, oh, you know, look what Hamas did to those women. It's like, do you understand there are women in Palestine? Do you understand that? It's the same as the LGBT community, right? They come to you and they say, they think they're so clever. They think they're coming out with the smartest thing imaginable. It's ridiculous. Oh, but you know, they don't really accept. Why do you support them? Because, you know, they don't support gay people there. Sorry, it's much more supportive, isn't it? So much more supportive that you bomb them. Like, oh, that's so progressive. I'm so glad that those bombs, that the white phosphorus, right, that is killing and maiming people. I'm so glad that the rainbow flag is on that bomb. Like, that makes a real difference. Think about the LGBT people there. It's just being said as an excuse to kill people. And again, it's used against oppressed peoples, and in colonizing situations with often with like European settlers, you present those people as barbaric, right, and their customs as barbaric, and we have to civilize them. Well, I'm sorry, that denies a truth about Palestine, which is that Palestine is a vast and vivid community. There are different people. I shouldn't even have to say this. We should know that in any country in the world there's going to be a vast different like group of people there. There have been like poets and photographers and just so many journalists, like all sorts of people are there. I get so angry with these people that are like, well, it's silly because why would you support the Palestinian people? Well, first of all, because I'm not a monster. First of all, because I don't want people to be killed. I don't want people to be slaughtered, and I don't want mass slaughter. I certainly don't want my identity to be brought into this as a reason to slaughter people. Sorry, do you not think that some of the children that are being born are going to end up being LGBT? Do you not think there's LGBT people there? Like, and I'm sorry, but if the choice is between, in this stupid framing, you know, a very hostile environment, you know, where you might not be able to talk about who you are, or being literally bombed and burned, what do you think the best option there is? It is a complete non-argument, and it makes me so angry. Right, Christians, and I'll say this, and I'm going to make a different video for some other quotes I've got, because I just have to say this. I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed as a Christian by our leaders. I'm so disappointed. Jesus asks us as Christians to show compassion and to forgive. I don't want to see Christians, I do not want to see Christians sitting there and saying, oh, Israel has a right to do this. Israel has a complete right to massacre all these people because of what Hamas did on October the 7th. Jesus was, if he was born today, do you understand that Jesus was born in Bethlehem? Jesus would have been a Palestinian Jew. Do you understand that? I feel like I'm going insane. Christian values. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. So, okay, we shouldn't be stealing land. We shouldn't be killing people. We shouldn't be oppressing one another. We shouldn't be massacring a population of trapped people because of what a small minority of them did. And yet our Christian leaders are so cowardly. They're so cowardly that they won't even say what's going on. They bring shame on, like, sorry, but they bring us all shame. And to me, I think that Jesus would be ashamed, would be absolutely horrified. I'm not saying that Christian leaders need to be like radical or anything like that, but the very basic thing, which is stop killing people, a ceasefire, is eluding so many because they're more involved in all the politics and how will I look. What do they actually learn? Like, what have they taken from Jesus's teachings? Like, what are they taking from Jesus exactly? Do they understand that if Jesus lived today, Jesus would be a Palestinian? He would be a Palestinian refugee, a Jewish Palestinian. And last of all, I'm going to say Doctor Who fans, and this probably sounds like a stupid thing to say, but I'm a big Doctor Who fan. You'll know if you follow my channel. I love it so much. Like, I'm obsessed with it. One of my favourite things in the whole world. It's just, I love it. And it's coming back quite soon. And I've been part of fandom for a while. You know, I follow a lot of fandom people. I follow people with big platforms, small platforms, right? And I've been disgusted and shocked to see that it is a small minority of people that have said a word about what's going on, right? It shouldn't be that it's the minority ethnic people that are posting about this, because we're the only people I can see doing it, right? It shouldn't be that it's, only Muslim people in fandom spaces are speaking, right? We are seeing the Be Kind Brigade. Oh, we love it. We love the fandom. We don't want nastiness. We're all happy. We love it so much. Ignoring a genocide that they're all London people, right? These I'm fed up of it. I'm fed up of it. They London people, oh, we love taking photos. Oh, look at the new merchandise and we're at the premiere and oh, it's fun. Let's do a podcast and a quiz. Let's do all this fun stuff and ignore the fact that a literal massacre of people is happening. Don't tell me that they don't know what's going on. These people are on social media constantly. They are, like, it's impossible. There have been so many marches. I'm not saying people have to get graphic. Some people are saying, oh, but what about their mental health? What about the Palestinian people, right? How hard is it to use your platform, right, to say ceasefire now? How hard is it to say a single word? But these people care about their careers. Oh, I'm so glad the new series of Doctor Who is back. And oh, I don't like nastiness. Let's be kind. Well, do you know what? I'm just gonna... There are many things I could say about these people who often masquerade as, you know, oh, we're great, positive people. We don't like nastiness. In fact, you know, we're really big on social justice stuff. We love Doctor Who. Let's ignore everything else that's happening in the world. As long as I'm having a good time, it doesn't matter that Palestinian people are being massacred. Right, this is a quote I just wanted to read here. This is from Naomi Schulman. Nice people made the best Nazis. My mum grew up next to them. They got along, refused to make waves, looked the other way when things got ugly, and focused on happier things than politics. They were lovely people who turned their heads as their neighbours were dragged away. You know who weren't nice people? Resistors. And for those people, I have been gutted. I knew that a lot of these people didn't really have moral consciences when it came to things. It was very performative, right? And but I thought they were good people. Like, you still have a thought that people are good, and then you just realise that the people masquerading as these, like, be kind and happy and positive, oh, look at my new steelbook, oh, the premiere, oh, it's like, the Doctor would be ashamed of you. The Doctor would actually be ashamed of you, that you would turn away. Like, what are you learning? It's like people who follow these fandoms, right? You follow Harry Potter, or you follow Doctor Who, you follow the Hunger Games, and then you see an actual situation of massacre happening where London, the city that you're at, is marching for a ceasefire, and you on your big platform can't even say ceasefire now. You can't even offer your prayers. You can't even offer a single word about it. It's complicit and it's cowardly, right? And these people watch them. They've chosen their careers. They've chosen to look the other way. These are not nice people, and these are not good people, because they know what's going on, right? But they want to live in a happy little bubble. And like, these are the same people that would have sat there and got annoyed when people had criticisms of things, right? Oh, ruining things because of criticising. We want it to be a warm and happy place for everyone, and oh, you're making waves, you're making it difficult. And these same little cowards are now completely silent. Look at their accounts, look at their profiles, the big ones, look at them, right? Professional fans, look at their accounts. See the true faces of these people, because this is what this situation is exposing, and it's horrifying, right? In any walk of life, no matter where you're at, you're going to have experienced, I think, in this country, horrible shocks, right? People who you thought were decent people, who can't even support a ceasefire and look the other way and don't care and will justify murder, justify the killing of an already persecuted people, right? You'll see those people. You'll also be, I mean, I've been pleasantly surprised by people I don't align with necessarily, people I wouldn't like, you know, other situations I probably wouldn't agree with them on, but they've had the courage to come forward and say, ceasefire now. It's incredibly basic, right? Oh, I don't want to get involved in politics. Oh, it's not very nice. Why are you watching Doctor Who? What are you doing as a fan of Doctor Who? Like, what's the point? What are you getting from it? Like, what are you learning? You following it for the Daleks, are you? You're thinking, oh, I'm a Dalek, I like that. In fact, you're worse than that. Worse than that. You're just one of those people, oh, the Daleks are doing some really bad things, but they look really pretty, don't they? The Daleks look really great. Fed up with these people. White feminists, Christians, right? Doctor Who fans, for me, other people in the spaces I've been around, that I just can't believe. I cannot believe it. These people live among us and around us. It shouldn't be controversial or difficult. You know, seeing people say, oh, it's a difficult situation, it's tricky to know what to say. Is it difficult? Is it difficult to say ceasefire? Is that difficult or even political? Is it difficult to say, stop bombing the Palestinian people, stop bombing the hostages? People are just cowards, absolute cowards, and it just... An actual big evil is happening right now, and we can all see it. These people pretending like they can't see it. I've had people say, oh, but people are trying to protect their mental health and it makes them a little bit sad. Oh, sorry. How evil of me. How evil of me to assume that someone with a conscience, with their big platform, might share so much as a ceasefire request. How foolish of me, you know, to like, how evil of me, and how unkind of me to encroach upon these people and their happy little podcast and their happy little quizzes and their happy little games, and oh, look at the promo and look at oh, we're having fun times here. Sorry to make you aware that human beings are being killed right now and our government is complicit, right? And it's largely to do with us, and that you have a platform and you follow a show which I think is like, I don't know what these people have learned from the show, but what I've learned is that you stand up against injustice. When everyone else runs away, you do the brave thing, you stand up against injustice. Shouldn't be difficult. These little people, I don't even know what they're there for. What are they fans for? What do they like exactly? What's the draw? Because it can't be the Doctor. It surely can't be the Doctor and what the Doctor teaches. It surely can't be the companions, because these people are just little complicit, little raising their own little careers. For what? I can't, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm not saying not to enjoy things. I like, you try, enjoy things. Life is short. Love people, you know, enjoy things. But to just sit there and act like nothing is happening, people with platforms, it shouldn't be that the minority of people are doing this, right? What's happened to people? What's the risk to us? What is the risk to us? People acting like, I don't know, I think it might not go very well for me, asking for a ceasefire, and you're thinking, it might not be good for me or my mental health. Well, I'm sorry, but the Palestinians don't have that luxury, and right now our government is acting in our name. So if you've got a platform and you're a good person, especially if you're in London and one of those types, you need to say something and use your platform. It shouldn't be that the minority ethnic people are the ones posting about this. And how devastating it must be, especially I imagine for Muslims in the fandom, to see everyone just carrying on like everything's absolutely fine, right? It's appalling. I have no other words for it. I'm going to share information about the protest this weekend. I'm not going to be able to go to London, but if there's local ones, then I'll go there. I'm going to try and keep making videos about this situation. Please, I urge you, educate yourself on this issue. And I'm not saying, like, you know, I don't know everything there is to know about it. Like, it's fine to not know everything there is to know about it, but learn, because the government is doing it in our names, right? Speak for peace. Speak for the ceasefire. All around the world, right, other countries are standing up and saying ceasefire. We are in the minority, right? We are on the dark, dark side of history right now. And in the future, we're going to be asked, where did you stand on this? What did you do? And what are people going to say? I was enjoying Doctor Who. I was loving it. I was doing my podcast. I was doing this. Like, no. What were you doing? Do people learn nothing from history? And again, I think it gets me because Doctor Who is like part of the thing that's good about Doctor Who is you look back at history, right? Do people not learn from history? I don't know. We are in a country where we do not, we value, we say be kind, be nice, all those things, but we value those things over justice. It is the people who stand up every time who are going to get called, oh, they're dangerous and they're dodgy and, oh, they're a bit controversial, oh, they seem a bit extreme. When people who ask for peace are being seen as extreme, what world do you think we're living in? How's the framing here? Open your eyes. Either you are completely stupid or you're completely complicit and selfish and only care about your own self-interest. It's got to be one of the two. I don't know what more I can say about this, because they won't care anyway. These people just don't care. Okay, thank you so much for watching this. I will update you soon on what's going on. I pray that we'll get the ceasefire. Pope Francis himself has said, in God's name, the Pope, in God's name, let there be a ceasefire. Our leaders are further right of the Pope. And it is jarring. I'm sorry, it is really jarring to see people just going along like nothing is happening. like nothing at all is happening. And again, I'm not saying people can't enjoy things, but if these are people who know what's going on and I haven't said a single word, they should be ashamed of themselves. Where do they think? We always think, don't we, in the past, we think, oh, where would you be? In Nazi Germany, for example, before that got really big, where do you think you'd be? Well, this is it. This is what we're learning, right? That's who you are. Where you are now and what you're doing now, that is who you are. And I hope that in the future you can live with that. You can look in the mirror and the people, if you have kids or family around you, let's hope that when they ask you that, you're able to answer with some sort of dignity or pride, or to at least say that you tried. You tried to do what you thought was right. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you really soon. Bye.